Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Carlene.
And I'm Jay. We are better known as Jaylene.
On this channel, we recap and provide our reviews for Married at First Sight. Today we are reviewing episode 6 entitled Saved by Mariachi. The couples are ending their honeymoon and heading back to reality, and a conversation is saved by the mariachi. There's a bromance, trust issues, and everyone getting in everyone else's business. You don't want to miss this. If you enjoyed watching Married at First Sight, please stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. The episode started with the couples waking up and getting ready for the guys and girls outings. The girls went to brunch while the guys had tequila shots. This is a chance for each group to say what is going on in their marriages and basically to be nosy. The girls are jealous that their outing isn't a tequila tasting like the guys. So Alexis believes her husband's sensitivity is new for her, and she has to think of his feelings constantly.
Alexis finds it difficult to deal with Justin's sensitivity.
And it's also the opposite of her. Then, when we looked at the guys, did anyone notice how Justin threw his tequila shot over his shoulder twice? He had at least one, but he didn't want to get lit since he didn't have breakfast. He told his wife that he wasn't going to be drunk. Justin told the guys how comfortable he and Alexis are to the point that they're walking around naked. Justin states, "She really respects my celibacy." I think they're getting paid every time they say this. They have to mention this in every episode. The guys are still in shock that he told Alexis that he loves her and probably think why they are not having sex yet. Justin wants it to happen naturally rather than it being forced. Also, his wife noticed his sensitivity and he thinks that she is okay with it.
Ben wanted to have a quickie with Morgan on their way to the gathering for the men and the women, and she was like, no, 10 minutes is not enough for her. And when she got to speaking with the ladies, she was telling them that, and then she was saying that my husband's so hot, and then we went to a montage of Ben taking his shirt off, having his shirt off, doing this, that, and the other.
And she was like, I shouldn't be talking about my husband in that way, and you can see that it was turning her on. Lindy says things are progressing in different ways, and the girls want to know more. She said she and Miguel are doing what married people do. Lindy says it's natural and no pressure. Then Stasha gave a concerning look on her face. Miguel said they made love and it was passionate. He says, I felt one with the universe, holy, and it was special.
Now, when Miguel said that they were making love, my thought is, who's making love, you or her? Because didn't Miguel say that he don't mind having crappy sex until it gets good? And then didn't Lindy say she wanted to wait and build a foundation, blah, 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 but then turns around and sleeps with him? So my thing is, how long ago was that conversation in that little jacuzzi or hot tub to them doing it? I'm concerned, like, did he manipulate her? Did something happen? Because you can tell later on in the episode how his mindset, personality changes after he got some.
Yeah, that turnaround was kind of quick because in the last episode, I know she talked about when they actually do it, but then in this episode, they're doing it. So I'm confused too. Stasha talked about the shower scene that they took and how she wants to build up to sex. Then Nate talked about that they weren't having sex, and the guys were actually surprised. He says that he wants to respect his wife. Then they showed the clip of him disrespecting that dancer. So the only woman he wants to respect is his wife. He wants to understand her and make sure their goals align. Miguel thought that was not true and thinks that they are doing something but not talking about it.
This is the only time I'm going to agree with Miguel because he's getting on my bad side right now. But Nate, I feel if he can have sex right now, he would. All that other stuff that he's saying, I don't believe it for a second.
It took a while for Kristen to say something. In the beginning, she was like, she wanted to hear everybody else's story before she told them what was going on with her. But at this point, she was like, before I say anything, I want you to be Team Mitch. She wants to make her marriage work and remain positive. Kristen explained how Mitch wasn't growing the physical attraction and explained what happened after they were drinking. Remember this time where they had the tequila and the strawberries? So that night, Mitch actually, he loosened up, and she said that he pounced on her. So Alexis was like, I'll be Team Mitch until he starts being disrespectful. So apparently Mitch was turned on by how Kristen handled herself at dinner when he said that he wasn't physically attractive. And then he was like, he want to get down. Now she wants to make the rules and was like, yeah, that's not happening.
I like how Kristen had her husband's back, even though everything is not going the way that she wants it to right now. That's really just telling me that she really wants this marriage to work by any means necessary, which could be a bad thing if this is not the right person for her.
Now let's talk about Morgan and Ben. So they talked about each other sleeping. Morgan thinks that Ben is a quiet sleeper, but Morgan tosses and turns. Ben brought up again how he was kicked that one time, but Morgan continues to deny it.
AKA Morgan beats Ben in his sleep.
At dinner, they talked about the other couples and believe that those couples are physical. Morgan and Ben are surprised that Justin told Alexis that he loves her and talked about when they would tell each other. I think this was a good way of thinking about eventually saying those words, but they know that everyone is unique and everyone's timing is different. Morgan and Ben want to spend time with Justin and Alexis. You see them trying to figure out how life would be with each other moving forward. Morgan talked about her stressful job as a nurse. She feels that they're starting out well, like they're having a good understanding and a good foundation. However, Ben wants to have more than pillow talk. He wants to make plans for them to spend time together and being positive before speaking. Morgan says, really make sure you mean what you say, as she is sensitive and can be hurt by the words in the past. This destroyed her relationship. She goes on to say, you can forgive, but not forget. She takes words to heart, and then you see the camera pan over to Ben, and that look that he had on his face is almost like, what can I say? Now the couple is on the beach. You see them surfing. The night before, Morgan talked about having a toxic relationship with her family, but Ben couldn't relate. He wants his wife to vibe with his family and have a good relationship with her family. He is concerned with her student loan debt and return to school. Morgan wasn't having it.
Damn!
She says, I wish you saw the good in me. Ben is confused if Morgan is done with her degree and if she is even a nurse. She told him she needed to complete one more class for her BSN, and this would increase her pay. Ben told Justin and believes he told Alexis. Morgan is hurt. She feels trust is broken and states of having a different Ben than the one that was sold to her.
This is where I believe when you're a married couple, certain things got to be kept in-house. And if she specifically said, don't share this is only for your ears only, I'm trying to be transparent with you. And if you have an issue with it, I believe he should just been more upfront with her saying, I have an issue here, here, and here. But I don't understand why he has an issue with her having a student loan debt. Most people on this planet have a student loan debt. It's not that big of a deal. And by her being a nurse, even though he thinks she's not a nurse, and she's one class short of getting her degree, I don't understand why that's such a big issue for him. And also, he should understand everyone doesn't think the way he thinks, and he should be more open-minded to what's going on.
Now we have Stasha and Nate. So Stasha set up a picnic date for them, and Nate really appreciates it. They were hoping for no bugs, but they saw some. They both believe that they are listening and communicating with one another. Nate says that he's not intimidated by her, and Stasha says how men are usually intimidated by her, and that's why she's been single. She wants to be in a relationship for the purpose of being married, and after her last relationship, she went to therapy and is currently in therapy. Then she asked Nate if they could do couples therapy together. Initially, do you think that he wanted to do therapy with her?
No. When he took that long pause, he was like, I should say the smart thing here, not the real answer I want to give. No, based on his look, I don't think he wanted to go to therapy. I don't think he feels it's necessary. But for them, I think it will be if they decide to stay together just because of their differences, and it will help them grow as a couple.
He said that he was down, so he, agreed in the moment. And she hopes that she is meeting the real Nate. Nate states that he really likes Stasha and wants to make moves together as a power couple. Then he gave her a kiss on the cheek, and she was gushing. After dinner, the couple is in bed, and Nate alludes to falling in love with Stasha. She tries to keep her composure and wants to know Nate's intentions with her. In his confessional, Nate is concerned that Stasha does not trust him. This was a concern in the previous episode with his finances. He was like, I haven't given her any red flags. According to Stasha, he only gave her a yellow flag. I can see how this lack of trust from Stasha can allow Nate to get in his head. However, they are still getting to know one another. She has insecurities about being enough and hoping that he does not detach from her. And Nate is surprised by her insecurities.
So I don't believe Nate's been paying attention to himself. So by him taking selfies on the RV, not paying her no attention, talking about you don't trust your boy, giving her a shade about her age, about having babies, and one to sign a post-up saying, oh. So there's red flags there. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Now on to Alexis and Justin. On the beach, they talked about how they envision life moving forward. Alexis asked Justin how he felt about being at home with the animals since he works remotely while she is working and making more money. He said he was fine. They wanted to do a budget after the honeymoon. Alexis says, people say that marriage is hard. I'm waiting for the hard part. What is this, like day 5 or 6? Not 5 weeks, not 5 months, not 5 years. They should be glad it is running smoothly now. Then the catamaran that they were on tipped over, and Justin did all that he could to protect his wife.
This is where Justin shows his Marvel hero skills.
Kristen and Alexis meet up. Kristen likes Alexis' strong and directness, or her strength and directness. Kristen tells Alexis that she thought her and her husband would just jump in right away, that they would be more attracted to each other. And she is concerned that Mitch hasn't been in a relationship for a while. Alexis tried to be on Team Mitch. Kristen seeks Alexis' advice. She believes Mitch's action says that he wants her. They are talking about the future, but she continues to walk on eggshells. She asks Alexis, how long can I dance in this line? Alexis is like, I can't answer that question. However, she advised Kristen to kind of look deep down inside to make sure that she want to continue to be married. And she also told her that she should take the small wins with Mitch.
Do you think their conversation was productive?
I thought Alexis was very helpful. I can see how easy it would be to bash Mitch, but she wants to support her new friend.
I like Alexis in this episode. She made a lot of sense in this episode, very surprisingly to me. But I thought the conversation was really good. She gave her good advice, but what I think Kristen should do is just pretty much just follow her instincts. She should know by, I'll say, the halfway mark of the experiment that if she can trust Mitch or not, and then if they can go forward. And by decision day, I think she'll know, along with us who's watching the show, if they should stay together or not, and if he's showing his true colors or not.
Ben and Justin met up. You see them playing basketball. Ben explains how Morgan is mad at him and does not trust him. Ben realizes that he should have talked to Morgan first before talking to Justin. Justin describes Ben as a great guy and encouraged him to express his feelings. Ben said the reason why he brought it up was because he was concerned. However, he is taking ownership about what has happened and how he will fix it. We see the beginning of a bromance, and they are willing to talk to each other at any time if needed. However, Ben told Justin to call him before 2:59 a.m. At least he's setting boundaries. Now we're seeing Morgan, Lindy, and Stasha sitting down together. And Morgan told the other girls how she was hurt when Ben shared something that was private with Justin. She talked about how Ben was expecting a perfect person. For example, someone who had a great relationship with her family and finances. She also mentioned his concern with her student loan debt. And Lindy chimed in. I mean, aren't these men a little bit older than the wives, and they had more time to clear up their debt? Morgan says, I want a husband who wants me and has no expectations. She states how usually when trust is broken, she walks away. However, she hasn't already because she's married. Stasha was concerned that Lindy slept with her husband too soon. This was yet another trigger for Stasha. She asked Lindy how did she go from not wanting to have sex with him until they build a connection to having sex. Stasha cried and in her confessional was reliving having sex with guys when she didn't want to. Lindy reassured her that she wasn't pressured and that this was her decision. She said they have been getting to know each other and that they're having a connection. Lindy wants support from the girls about this decision and not judgment due to her upbringing.
I'm still not buying Lindy's, what she's selling. It's something there that we're not aware of at this moment, because you can't go from telling him, I'm not going to sleep with you, I'm not going to sleep with you, no matter how many times he try to make a move on you, to sleeping with him. What was so radical that changed from one day to the next?
Then Lindy questions Nate's reasons for being there. She talked about the selfie incident and wonders why he's always on his phone. Lindy was like, I don't even know where my phone is, since she is enjoying the experience. Stasha agreed with Lindy and questions Nate's reasons too. Stasha says, I want him to peel back the layers, and at that time, I would be more comfortable. Now we see Lindy and Miguel on the beach, and they're doing, an activity. Lindy wants to tell Miguel everything and wants to make sure that he is falling in love with her. Now she is in her head, and Miguel told her not to do that. And if he falls in love with her, it would be the real person. I was concerned when she said that she would love Miguel as a pervert. At this point, he does not know if he loves her. He will give it his all for 8 weeks and then decide. Did you see that look of disappointment on Lindy's face? She wants to know how much to protect herself. She got married for a lifelong partner, and Miguel was like, me too, me too.
After getting some now, Miguel, I feel he doesn't care. Like he was pretending to do during the matchmaking special, during the first episode, during the wedding. I just feel it's all kind of fake right now.
Yeah, before I thought he was more attentive, really like looking at her, really into her. Now it seems like he's annoyed when she speaks. Okay, now the couples are getting together and having one last meal before leaving Mexico. It looked like the guys were trying to match. It seemed like most of them had on black tops. Lindy didn't hesitate to share with the group how Miguel was giving his efforts for 8 weeks, and then we'll see what will happen. In her confessional, Lindy says it would be painful to feel like she's falling in love with someone, and then they tell her that they don't want her. Everyone else tried to steer the conversation in a different direction and sat down. It was interesting to see the seating arrangements. Alexis and Justin and Stasha and Nate, they were sitting so close to their partner. But Lindy and Miguel, they started out close. Then you saw Miguel, he kept scooting his chair away from her. All the other couples were just there. They talked about moving in together after the honeymoon. Stasha states that Nate is concerned with how much he will be working. Nate was excited to share that he will be moving in to his wife's brand new home. He says, "I'm looking forward to this happy wife, happy life." Kristin is looking forward to eating dinner and sleeping in the same bed with her husband. And Mitch says he's attracted to a woman who is busy, engaging, and strong. He wants to find time to connect with his wife. Morgan talked about how she coped as a nurse. Basically, she wants to be alone when she gets home and hopes that the other person can take care of himself. She's not used to talking about her feelings regarding work. Then Alexis and Justin whispered to each other and was like, "Why is she married?" They were like, "Does she want a roommate?" How do you just talk about someone right in front of their face? Ben wants to know, how does he fit in? Morgan suggests checking in with each other daily.
And when everybody else was concerned about how he would fit in as well, Ben made some kind of sexual gyration movement or pumping. And I was like, okay. And everybody was like, yes, exactly. Come on. So after that, in this little, I guess it was like during Ben's and Morgan's confessional, somehow they got onto the sex position 69. And as Morgan's trying to explain it, Ben's trying to cover her mouth. And she's pointing to the mouth, to the crotch, and he's trying to say, "Mom, a 69 is something other than sexual type of position and stuff." I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, he brought up it was geometry, something like that. Alexis talked about how she caters to Justin and eventually says, she eventually tells Justin that she loves him. Did you see the look on the other couple's faces? Kristin and Mitch just looked disgusted, and Morgan and Ben looked confused. I kind of felt sorry for Kristin and Mitch.
Why do you feel sorry for them?
They are not where most of the other couples are, and it seems like they're trying to play catch up. This whole love thing completely confused Miguel because he doesn't know if he wants to spend the rest of his life with Lindy. She looked puzzled, and everyone else could see she had this confused look on her face. Like, wait a minute, we didn't talk about that. Then Lindy was validating this craziness, talking about how much she respects Miguel's personality. Stasha asked Miguel, "Were you even in the mindset of wanting to get married?" And Justin was backing her up. She was like, "I didn't want to come for you in front of everyone, but I don't even know your story." Then she asked, "How long have you been single? Were you even trying to be married?" Then the Mariachis stepped in and saved the day. Lindy and Miguel kissed each other, and they were glad that Miguel did not have to answer those questions.
But for someone with a PhD, shouldn't he be smarter than that with his foolishness? It's like, why? If he wouldn't have said anything to anybody, they wouldn't have came at him like that.
Now we have Kristin and Mitch. So after the dinner scene with all the couples, you see them recapping the dinner in their bed. So Kristin is still happier being married than being single and in the streets. Mitch admits to being a lot. He doesn't want Kristin to put too much pressure on him that he'll shut down. However, he wants her to challenge him and not give him free passes. Kristin wants to be challenged as well and also wanted. She understands the rocky start and thanks him for showing some affection daily. In the morning, they had breakfast and talked about cuddling all night, talking about they had a moment last night but restrained themselves. Now Mitch seems happier and in a better place. Back to Alexis and Justin. So after the dinner, Alexis basically wants to know why Justin doesn't care for Morgan. He says he can see that his friend isn't happy. He wants Ben to have a perfect experience like he's having. he started crying because his friend was hurting. Alexis talked about him hurting for Ben is not adding any value and called him a soft baby. She was like, he was caring about Ben and didn't notice how she was expressing her heart to him. He kept trying to make her say that she loves him. Then he was having a dance party all by himself. The couples left paradise and headed back to reality. Well, that's all we have for episode 6, but here's a question. Do you think that Stasha should have come for Miguel? Or what do you think Miguel would have said if he had the chance to, answer those questions before the mariachi stepped in? Won't you tell us your thoughts in the comments? And also, what did you think about episode 6? We love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us today. Also, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our latest videos.
Later, guys.
Bye.